What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today for another season preview. This time we are here with the Carolina Hurricanes following the Calgary Flames. And this is the first team you could say playoffs, no doubt. So the GM of this team is Eric Tulsky. He's in year 2 of his tenure as the Carolina Hurricanes GM. His predecessor, Don Waddell, building a lot of this team. Coach, Rod Brind'Amour, he's going into year 7. Greatest coach in Carolina Hurricanes history, and that's really not much of a question. He's not won a Stanley Cup yet, but he's allowed this team to succeed for a period of time that they never have. Prior to 2019, they had missed the playoffs for 10 years. Before that, in 99 they made the playoffs. In 2001, 2002 they lose in the final. 2006 they win the cup. In 2009 they lose in the conference final. This team has made the playoffs now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row. That's as many as they've had previous in their existence. And they don't look like they're going to be stopping anytime soon at making the playoffs. The consistency of the Carolina Hurricanes is very admirable. Looking at the first line, the big new name with this team, Nikolai Ehlers, comes over from Winnipeg. $8.5 million per year until 2031. That looks pretty good. Aho, $9.75 million until 2032. Seth Jarvis, $7.420 million cap hit. Jeez, that was brutal. Until 2032. And that's your top line, and it's a very good top line. Aho, very good two-way forward. Ehlers can be credited with a good two-way game, and he can put up points. Jarvis can score a ton of goals and is also a good two-way player. A lot of Carolina's style is two-way play, and that's a system that Rod Brind'Amour puts in because he was that kind of player. And it's a really good system, but it's a question now of can it get it done in the playoffs as this team's still not made a final, although they've been close. Svechnikov, $7.75 million until 2029. Kotkaniemi, the real question mark. Is he really a second-line center? $4.820 million until 2030. Stankoven, his contract starts next year. He's still on his entry-level deal. $6 million cap hit until 2034. That starts next year, as I said. Third line, Taylor Hall comes over from Chicago last season. $3.166 cap hit until 2028. Jordan Staal, their captain, $2.9 million cap hit until 2027. And Jackson Blake, $5.117 million cap hit until 2034. Like Stankoven, starting next year as he signed his 8-year extension. Fourth line. When Martinook is on your fourth line, you know you have a good team. $3.05 cap hit until 2027. Jankowski comes over from, was it Nashville? Or Buffalo? One of those two. $800,000 cap hit until 2026. Eric Robinson, $1.7 million cap hit until 2029. This team has over $10 million left in cap space. They are great at spending their money. They're great at buying high on their players when they're younger, so they have very long-term contracts, as their core is mostly locked up. Aho, Jarvis, Ehlers, Svechnikov, Stankoven, Blake, all of those guys, Kotkaniemi if you want to count him, that all locked up in their forward core until 2030, basically. Other players, William Carey is an interesting one. $2 million cap hit until 2030, a very Miles Wood-like contract. He definitely could be put into the lineup at some points. Maybe he's going to play out as the 13th forward until maybe Jankowski will be the one that exits this next offseason. But Carey is making $2 million until 2030. It's a long-term cap. Not a lot of money, but it's still a very long contract. Tyson Jost also there for some added depth. Now, as a bit of an announcement I'm going to make, I will be working with the Chicago Wolves this upcoming 2025-26 season as an intern, so I'll be getting to know these players a lot more that are going to be in their organization. Uniaska, Bradley Nadeau, Skylar Brind'Amour, Justin Robidas, and Ryan Suzuki, all forwards that I could think will be able to get some playing time with the Carolina Hurricanes this season. Especially Nadeau, Brind'Amour, those two really stick out. And then they drafted Rybakhin, who could end up being a steal, and he's just the type of player that Carolina, I feel like, could really turn around. There's been critiques about his dedication, his work ethic, to say the least. I feel like if there's a team that could get him to turn that around, it's the Carolina Hurricanes, so I think that's a good pick for them, and we'll see in the coming years if Rybakhin becomes a good player for them. Maybe find filling into that second-line center spot. Who knows? On the defense, you have Josiah Slavin. Jacob Slavin, $6.395 million cap hit until 2033. Jalen Chatfield, a $3 million cap hit until 2027. Keandre Miller is traded from the Rangers. $7.5 million cap hit until 2033. Sean Walker, $3.6 million cap hit until 2029. Gostisbehere's got a $3.2 million cap hit until 2027. And Nikishin could be an underrated guy to watch for in the rookie race. He's an RFA next offseason in 2026. Basically still on his entry-level deal. But definitely fills in that spot where Brent Burns now leaves vacant. Other defensemen, their seventh defenseman is Mike Riley, $1.1 million cap hit until next summer in 2026. And Gavin Bayreuther's with listed as with the Wolves, but he could fill in as an NHL defenseman when needed. Wasn't a whole lot of defenseman prospects I saw with the Chicago Wolves organization. Of course, I do follow the Wolves since they are the most local hockey team to me, very close to me. I mean, Sealy has a possibility to maybe work his way up into the lineup if there's injury. But overall, I can't see a lot of guys from the Chicago Wolves coming up and playing on the defensive side, at least. Goaltending. Freddie Anderson re-signs for one more year, $2.7 million cap hit. $2.75 million cap hit until 2026. Kochekov's got a $2 million cap hit until 2027. Cheap but good goaltending. And then their third goalie, they brought in Caden Primo from Montreal. He'll probably start the season in Chicago. They also have Kazayev, who I'm watching with the Wolves. Maybe a guy that comes up, but I think he's ready to take the reins for the most part as the full-time backup with the Wolves. Primo's going to start. Tokarski moves on, but and so does Spencer Martin. So we'll see. So if you want the full list of additions, Keandre Miller, Caden Primo, Nick Ehlers, Bayreuther, and Mike Riley. Subtractions, Scott Morrow, who was the one defenseman I did see possibly getting his way into the lineup at some point this season. He ends up moving on to the Rangers in the trade for Keandre Miller. Brent Burns heads to Colorado in free agency. Jack Roslovic could come back. I'm not sure where he would fit in this lineup, but he had a 20-goal season last time. He's the biggest free agent still out there. And then Orlov also heads to San Jose. So some spots filled in on the defense. Miller takes in for Orlov. Nikishin goes in for Burns. Morrow doesn't really need to be replaced since he was a minor league guy. But overall, still a very good defensive tops. I think overall, a very good top six. I think the left side's definitely stronger than the right. But that could be something they address possibly later in the season at the deadline. In terms of their season history, going back to 2018-19, they've been on a streak since they made the playoffs. 46-29-7 record. They hadn't made the playoffs in 10 years. 99 points. They get in as the first wild card. And they go on a hell of a run to the conference final. They beat the Capitals in 7, the defending champions. They swept the Islanders in the second round, but then they get swept by Boston. But there's a very nice-looking future for them. 2019-20 in the shortened season, they go 38-25-5, 81 points. They were the 6th seed in the East, if I remember correctly. 11th in the league. First round elimination, and that was by the Boston Bruins. And that's really the only time they've had an early exit since 2001. 2020-21, 36-12-8 record. They had a fantastic regular season. Third in the league. And they lose in the second round to the Tampa Bay Lightning that season as they go on their way to their back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. 21-22, 54-20-8, 116 points. They once again finish third, and they also are eliminated in the second round once again, this time by the New York Rangers in 7 games. What I remember about that Carolina run is they did not win a game on the road. The first round, every game they played against Boston, they won at home. Every game they played on the road, they lost. The Rangers series, they won every game at home until Game 7. They did not win a game on the road, and you're not going to win a Stanley Cup like that. 2022-23, they go 52-21-9, 113 points. Second in the league this time, only behind Boston, who had 65 wins that year. They go to the conference final, and they lose in pretty heartbreaking fashion to Florida. 3 games really ended in the last seconds or in overtime. There was the game that went the full 4 overtimes. Like Tkachuk ended it with like 10 seconds to go in the 4th overtime. Game 2, they lost in overtime. Tkachuk scores with like 2 seconds to go in the game 4. And in game 3, they just got shut out by Bobrovsky. And that's what they've really been working towards. And at that point, they hadn't won a conference final game since 2006. And that's where the talk starts going. Is this team good enough to really get over that hump? 2009, they were swept in the conference final. 2019, they were swept in the conference final. 2023, they were swept in the conference final. That's 0-12 in conference final games since they won the cup. 23-24, they go 52-23-7, 111 points for third in the league. They lose in the second round once again to the New York Rangers in 7 games, I believe it was. 6 or 7, I'm not sure off the top of my head. But early exit, a lot of people picked them to win the Cup that year, and they didn't pull it off. This year in 2024-25, they did take a step back points-wise, 47, 30, and 5 for 99 points. 10th in the league finish, but they go to the conference final. They're playing Florida again. They lose the first 3, so now they're 0-15 in conference final games. They win Game 4, but they get closed out in Game 5. 1-16 in their last 17 conference final games. And that leaves them with a question mark. Are they good enough to get to the Stanley Cup final and win it all? The Hurricanes are hoping that Ehlers, Miller, they're younger players. I mean, Orlov and Burns are older players. Ehlers is really in his prime right now, and Miller's entering into his prime. Years, I should say. Can this be enough to get them over the hump? And maybe they'll add something at the deadline to even make this team even deeper. Because let's be honest, this is a super deep team. Just they can roll 4 lines. They can play 3 pairs of defensemen. They got 2 goaltenders that can rotate in and out. And they have a lot of forward depth, some defensive depth, and goaltending depth. Overall, this is a very complete team. Definitely a playoff team. A team I could see winning the Metropolitan Division. They finished second only behind Washington this season. And yeah, I'm going to say they probably finished top of the Metropolitan Division. But yeah, I think it's going to be between them, the Devils, and the Rangers going to be duking it out probably for that top spot. The Rangers are a bit iffy, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know down below, do you think the Carolina Hurricanes have a chance this year of finally getting that Stanley Cup after this long streak of in the playoffs? Or do you think this will be a team that goes on as a very good team of this era but was never able to get it done? Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I shall see you all in the next one. Have a good one.